take into account that everything that was said about Metroid Prime 4 is, how can I say, eh, let's just go ahead and just get the obvious out the way. We're gonna talk about this in a little bit of a more of a light way and a little bit just the camera. And there we go. So yeah. So what's up everybody? It's your boy Kahuna Silver right here on YouTube. And I just wanna go ahead and just talk about this whole Metroid Prime and the development behind this game because I feel like what's happening is about to happen to this game. It was going to happen because this game was basically restarted development and everything like that. But a lot of interesting facts came out about Retro Studio and the game, and I hope I'm piecing everything together, right? And it kind of left me kind of addictive on it. So let me explain what's happening. So there's an article that came out recently talking about the development behind Metroid Prime 4, and what happened was basically what the interviewer was saying. Basically, it was a part of the dev team that was being interviewed, and they was talking about the development of what was going on. So there's couple key points that I do want to touch upon. First and foremost, let's talk about the fact that one, yes, they had to work with what Bandai Namco had already worked with, well, already done. Basically, what Nintendo did was behind the scenes snatched the project from Bandai Namco Singapore and gave it to gave it to Retro Studios, and basically they had to rework it, basically restart, rework, and basically work with what they had with the project. So in the later part of the interview, they basically was throwing out new ideas for the game and everything like that. And they basically said one thing about this game that I think a lot of people didn't think that was going to come out. They was actually going to plan to restart this game, and not only just restart this game, I mean, because they was working with an open world Metroid, and basically it's because the response of a lot of people were saying it online. Hey, we want an open world Metroid, but over time the reason why that wasn't going to work with Metroid and everything with that, because one, they did point this out over time. Let's face it, we had Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Horizon, Assassin's Creed games, freaking Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. A lot of open world games come out over this past decade. It seemed like it was the only thing coming out. I mean, I'm not even counting Cyberpunk and Witcher in there too because that's part of it. But we've been getting nothing but open world games most of these last two generations. Basically PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch 2. We've been getting nothing but open world games. And you know what? That was kind of right to look at the online perception of then versus now. But what they said that it was literally, what they were saying was, well, we couldn't really restart the project because it's already been restarted once. And in that same interview, they pointed out that Nintendo had already burned through so much cash on this game. Now it's time for me to put on the Nintendo fanboy glasses. Let's start with how Nintendo handled this project. So, of course, I got Metroid Prime 4. I bought it day one, but I threw it under the Christmas tree because I wanted this to be my Christmas game. Got it for Christmas though. And yeah, I got it with the money my mother gave me. So I bought it, threw it under the Christmas tree, and it's my Christmas game. But the reason why that I want to talk about this really is because I want to talk about one, how Nintendo handled this game. First and foremost, I understand that Nintendo wanted a Prime 4, especially after the fans was disappointed with Metroid Prime Federation Force, and fans not being too happy about AM2R. These was easy wins for Nintendo. Hey, let's just make our own Metroid 2 remakes. Hey, let's make the Prime 4 that everybody wants. So Nintendo was listening that, hey, everybody wanted Metroid Prime 4, so let's give it to them. However, though, man, they didn't consider that Retro Studios was also working on other projects. They had to push that or cancel that project aside to take over a project that should have been theirs from the get-go. But if it wasn't going to be Retro Studios, I'm going to refer back to what I just said. If it wasn't going to be Retro Studios, and after I seen them develop Luigi's Mansion 1, not Luigi's Mansion 1, but Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3, they messed up with 2, but they came back strong with 3. I wouldn't be in the wrong saying that If Nintendo really wanted a Metroid Prime 4 out, and it wasn't going to be Retro Studios to actually do it, I would rather Next Level Games do it, because Metroid Prime Federation Force, despite all the hate it gets, was a pretty dang on good game. And okay, Nintendo was fishing for easy wins with the Metroid Prime fans, and they wanted a Metroid Prime 4 to satisfy those fans. Okay, but Retro was busy. They was working on Donkey Kong, their own project, and probably working on something else. But all that got cast aside, well, except Donkey Kong, but all that got cast aside for Metroid Prime 4. The big issue that everybody and their mama's going to come up with out this interview is that, one, Nintendo mishandled Metroid Prime 4. And I'm not going to defend Nintendo on that, because they did. I understand they wanted an easy win, but Nintendo, especially when you're fishing for an easy win, you should have had Metroid Prime 4 secured. But I'm going to go sit and say this. Bandai Namco should have never touched Prime in the first place. For one, Metroid Prime, they never had no experience with Metroid. Let me be honest with you. They worked with Samus and Smash Bros. And that's about it. But outside of anything else Metroid, I don't think Bandai Namco has touched Metroid. Now, I understand that Nintendo had great, trust with Bandai Namco and their franchise. They worked on Mario Kart, they worked on Star Fox, they worked on Smash Bros, they worked on Pokemon, you name it, and they have done an excellent job. But given the simple causes of it all, I honestly think that if Nintendo really wanted a Metroid Prime, and don't get me wrong, Federation Force basically laid the foundation by continuing where Metroid Prime 3 left off with Silex. If you played this game to the end, you would have got a special cutscene that had Silex in it. And that showed you that, A, they're following Metroid lore. Even with the Metroid Prime Federation Force game, Next Level Games had the formula. And if you actually played this game, they know Prime. They actually know Prime. And the control schemes, everything they worked with on the 3DS, yes, Next Level Games knew Prime already. So if anybody was to ever worked on Metroid Prime 4, it should have been them. Not freaking Bandai Namco, who had no experience with Metroid. But again, Retro was busy. So when Retro got this project, it was basically, oh, we got to get this. The game is already behind schedule. Nintendo already blew, this is in the interview, Nintendo blew through too much gas on this game already. So what they basically did is said, we can't throw this away. We blew too much cash on this already. And this is what they have. So we have to take this, salvage it. So we won't burn no more money. And basically had to restart where they left off at. This interview opened my eyes to Metroid Prime 4 a little bit. And I can't help but to blame nobody else but the heads of Nintendo. This request came from Nintendo of America. I can't help but to blame the heads at the time about Metroid Prime 4. And I can't say this, but Nintendo mishandled Metroid Prime 4. But don't get me wrong, so far while I played through on Metroid Prime 4, great game. I like it a lot. So, it just sours the experience for me just a little bit, knowing what I know now about this game and everything. I like Bandai Namco. They're great on certain projects. But Prime 4, Nintendo should have waited for Retro on this game. They should have waited for Retro on this game. If they would have waited for Retro, I believe that this game would have been in the right hands. Sadly, oops, I dropped my game case. Sadly, it wasn't until the last minute. But what we got here, I think they did a great job of salvaging the game. And I think what they did here should be rewarded. Thank you. Thank you, Retro Studios, for putting your hard work and dedication in this game. And one more thing I want to say about this game was this. The reason why this game took so long to come out, despite being back in the hands of Retro, they had to literally put a team together for this. Most of the development time of this game was spent hiring people. And there is clear evidence of this, because there's evidence that every single week, every single time, like almost every year, we're seeing new positions open up for Metroid Prime. Hey, and every time we saw a hiring, hey, these people, we were hiring for more staff on Metroid Prime. We're hiring for more staff on Metroid Prime. We saw this in real time. So that part is true. Everything else, wow. I'm open my eyes to Nintendo about that. I'm not pleased with how Nintendo handled Metroid Prime 4 from the beginning to the end, but thankfully, they was able to salvage the game and create a decent project out of it. So next time that we do see Metroid Prime, they are talking about making a whole new storyline for Metroid Prime, starting with Metroid Prime 5. Next one is going to be all retro. All retro. Everything, the ideas, the concept, the gameplay, everything, all from Retro Studios. So, hope this was a learning experience for Nintendo. I really do hope this was a learning experience from Nintendo. I'm out of here.